Well, Ryan, we're live on Facebook. It's your show, buddy.
Hey, Tristan, new year. Really proud and just loving that the partnership that we have with LabCoats. I wanted to start off this webinar a little bit different than what we've done in the past by really talking to our dream team, our VIPs of Very Social. I wanted to bring them on and talk about their experience, but they're in the same boat as all of us. Like, they're real estate agents, they're in the real estate industry, and they're trying to make a living. They're marketing themselves. They're selling homes. So I think we really should talk about marketing and branding and really how they took that step and they invested in their brand. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of these real estate agents have a hard time doing. They'd rather spend their money on Zillow leads and have that direct lead. But I think for the long term, to really build a brand and make a name for yourself, investing in social media could really separate you from your competition. It allows you to network and connect with your followers, to grow your followers, and to provide value add information that could lead to relationships that lead to possible sales. And I'm really proud to have these clients that really get it. They live it. They invest in their business, and we've had a great relationship. Why don't we start? I'll start. I want to share share the screen here. Next slide. So Jeff is in upstate New York, and just to kind of get a feel, like, the grid is so important to us. If you just take a look at his grid, it just really aligns. We have his branding, we have some infographics, we have some graphics that really try to engage with his audience. So Jeff, thank you for coming aboard. I want you to talk about, just a quick intro on Jeff. He was actually in Manhattan, and when the pandemic hit, moved to upstate. So he actually changed his market. And he said to me, he says, you know what, I'm changing my market. I think I really want to separate myself. I feel like if I, really market and brand myself on social media, I think that could really be really be that differentiator. And that's what we did. And it's been about 6 or 7 months. So why don't you talk about going from a brand new market, having experience in real estate, and how you use social media to launch in that market?
Yeah, totally. So basically I started doing real estate in 2009 in the city, Brooklyn, Upper Manhattan. And I always dabbled in social media. I always would have this, January 1st resolution to do Instagram, and it sort of it never came to be. And I didn't really need it in the city. I mean, I had a lot of ties with developers and landlords, but when I moved up to, a new market, I really had nothing to go off of. I had to set up new client base, set up, new mailers, new cold calls, the whole bit. And I decided, I spoke with Ryan about this. He's like the first guy that came to, mind. And basically I said, I need to build basically a resume. So for me, my idea was, let me just start with one thing. Let me just go all in on Instagram, hire some help, build the grid out, build a follower base, target, the right hashtags for the neighborhood. And I really leaned on Instagram for the first 6 months. I have the Instagram, in my email signature, on my business cards, on my newsletter. It was just pushing anyone I spoke to, check me out on Instagram. I get a Zillow lead. They immediately get a text with a little hello video, who I am, check me out on Instagram, because I just felt like I had nothing else to kind of back me up as a successful agent in a new market, because you couldn't go on Zillow and see my 150 sales from the last 10 years. So I really had to kind of hyper speed build up a not a following so much as just as as if someone were to find me on Instagram, they'd be like, oh yeah, this guy's an experienced agent. He knows what he's talking about. And you can be an experienced agent in 6 months in a market if you put a lot of work into it. So that's kind of what my business plan was. A couple other things I just wanted to put out there was, I think the suburban markets are very heavy on Zillow, and it's really hard to build rapport with people that get, sent to you by this call center. And I think when they look you up on Instagram, it's just like Googling you, they can see, oh, this is a real person on the other end that's giving buyers advice on Instagram and, helping buyers get into contract. And, that's a lot of the stuff that I broadcast.
Well, on top of that, Jeff, I'm going to interrupt you because Zillow has been removing our past sales over the last week. And so even if you are an experienced agent, one of my friends got 71 of her past sales removed, which was all of them last year.
Yeah.
And they can't take that away on Instagram. So
right.
That's a massive difference, right? So I agree with you. Build your own brand on social.
And just one other thing that I really want to highlight, promoting, once you have an Instagram and social media presence that you're proud of it, you really want to promote it. It's in your email signature. You're talking to your friends and families, you're meeting buyers and sellers, and you're saying, hey, check out my Instagram, because it's like your website. With the Instagram stories, that's like your newsletter. You're constantly, staying top of mind with these updates that you're doing. And with Jeff, we did a lot of collaborations with local businesses. He would talk about the neighborhoods. So, Jeff, how did you use, and I'll just one more thing before we get into this. This question is like, Jeff wasn't the most comfortable person in front of a camera. I think one of our major conversations was like, how am I going to create content? So, Jeff, how did we work with you and give you ideas and really push you to create this content? And, if we look at his grid, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I am not even, when I say I'm not on social media, I am for my business, but other than some local Facebook groups to shop for some random stuff on Facebook Marketplace, I'm not a big social media person. So for example, if I go out to a nice restaurant with my wife, I'm not the kind of person who's broadcasting it, my life is my life. I don't really, spend a lot of time on Instagram. So it was really hard for me to just put myself in a position where every time there was a key moment, whether I see a cool cafe or restaurant or vendor in a small town that I think is a good shout to people that don't know the area, it's immediately all right, I have to get some photos. And so to answer Ryan's question, how did I get into it? It was uncomfortable at first, but we did sort of a big brand analysis. We looked at some other people's accounts that I said, hey, I think this is in line with me as a personality. I'd like my grid to kind of have this vibe. And, I work with one of Ryan's, with Sylvia, who's awesome. And, we touch base on the weekly about, she kind of reaches out to me a lot if she's missing content and basically
Jeff,
I just Dropbox, I put pictures in Dropbox and she runs with it. Yeah.
It sounds like you're like a lot of other agents in the sense that it doesn't come natural to be on social. So you've had to grow into it. So what are some of the pointers you can give to those people listening in? What should we do? Where should we change to be able to grow into this?
Well, I think what's really hard with being a real estate agent is that the really top Instagram accounts are quite luxury and quite glamorous. And it's I'm not standing on this $20 million, Sunset Beach property. But I think it's just embracing the little things of the transactions that we think are boring, are not necessarily so boring to the general public. And I think for me, a lot of the Instagram stuff is really just consistency. Just seeing the posts over a couple posts a week, it's also just brand recognition, because it's like, oh yeah, that's the guy that I'm following that does real estate in Cold Spring or something like that. I mean, I don't really have any tips. I'm still learning myself. Like I'll give you a great example. I found a really cool, like super boutique, tiny little store in Peekskill, New York. And I was having a conversation with Ryan and Sylvia, like, so what can I do to like really amp it up here? Like, let's take this one establishment, like walk me through how to do a quick walkthrough tour and maybe say hi to the owner or ask him a couple questions, get some video content for it and, take more pictures or, that kind of stuff. So I think it's also just training yourself to do these things and you got to just be comfortable out, doing it in public.
Jeff, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the results? Like, how many followers did you start off with? Have you been getting leads? How has, the effort and the time spent with us, like, resulted into you getting business?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in the very beginning, it was a lot of time, like, in the very beginning, it was a lot of time kind of getting you guys content, right? Like, because you don't have any pictures. So, I got some listings and then grabbed some content off that, recycled a bunch of stuff. But the results were, I think I had maybe like 300 followers just organically somehow from working in the city. And I don't know where I'm at now, but
it's the Instagram fairy, dude. The Instagram fairy.
Yeah, 2,200. I was like, I know that in the back channels, you guys are collaborating with other agents and other people that kind of are in our sphere, whether it's design or architecture. And I know that there's been a lot of cross following, which is awesome. And I'd say, on the results side, I think there's intangible results, whereas I have definitely gained buyer loyalty from many buyers that haven't started their official search yet, that I do think will circle back, especially the Zillow people who are traditionally like a year to a year and a half out anyways. Mm-hmm. They've gotten my stuff. I know that I can see on my CRM, they click the link, like, so there is some, I think, nurturing that's happening organically. And then I just recently, I had someone reach out to me who was like, yeah, we're shopping for buyer's agents. And, we found you on Instagram because there's looking in the town that I sort of focus on, and they must have picked up the right hashtag that I know we're doing. And, they literally DM'd me over Christmas, and they're serious buyers. They want to move in the summer. And, for our market, they're real at the high or middle end. So I'm working with them. And let me just say, the difference between having a conversation with those guys and having a conversation with someone who is super confused that just spoke to a Zillow representative is completely different. Like, these guys reached out to me. There's already rapport built. They said they really like the information I've been putting out about, buying and stuff like that. So I came from such a better place on that call, on that buyer consult, than I would have had to convince somebody who's has no idea what's going on and, thinks they're talking to the listing agent or whatever.
But dude, that's the secret of social media in general. And we find that all across the board when people start reaching out through us through like Instagram or YouTube, they have a direct connection with your brand. So there's no sitting down or calling them on the phone and selling them, right? They're already bought into who you are. So that's why I love what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I saw on that first shot that you showed Jeff's images on.
Yes.
You also, first of all, Jeff, I wanted to move to wherever the hell that was. That looks really pretty. I saw you also had somebody else on the previous screen, and I like that as well. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to transition over to her. What was that one?
That's the Chibaro group.
Chibaro, yeah.
So everyone follow Jeff_Green_NY. And, you can see a ton of beautiful listings and real value add content for upstate New York.
Thanks, man.
All right. So Chibaro, you're up.
Yes, thank you for having us.
That's
My name is
Kara and Renee, right?
The
yes.
husband and wife duo. So
Yes.
similar to Jeff, you guys were just getting started in the California market, and you really wanted to come out with a bang. You just did a website, and you kind of wanted to go off the website. How's it been? Starting from scratch, really creating an Instagram brand.
I guess I'll briefly start. I can say that I feel that you guys really put us on the social media map. That's what I've been saying. To say that,
Oh,
I was
wow.
a social media novice is true. I mean, I just recently got my own Facebook account. So we didn't know how to begin. We are somewhat new to real estate. We're in our second year, so we weren't sure how to begin, but we wanted something professional, yet something that could also see into our personal lives with creative content, and that was visually appealing. So I would say that so far it has been stellar. I'm sure you would like to add to that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I came to real estate from the tech industry, so I wouldn't say I was a complete social media novice, but then again, for years and years, we didn't have these customer facing roles, and we didn't have to put ourselves out there, when you're in a corporate role. And Instagram has just been blowing up. And so that whole Instagram trend during my corporate years really kind of bypassed me. And when we were in real estate, we're like, we got to get out there. And no one was asking anymore, where are you guys on Facebook? People were asking left and right. What's your Instagram handle? What's your Instagram handle? And I'm like, I don't do Instagram. I do everything else, but I have no clue where to even begin. And the learning curve would have been steep to just figure out, how do you do this? It was just a little overwhelming. I was like, why don't we really try and start with a bang and do it right from the very beginning? So and that's how we found you guys, and you guys literally launched us from zero followers, brand new account, and it was just amazing.
Where are you guys at now, follower wise?
I think we're about 700 now. We have,
Wow.
Yeah, close to 800 now. Like,
Mhm.
and that's only in 3 months.
exactly. So we can imagine in, a year from now.
And I think with them, we really took their content and really made it feel like a website. Like, the grid is so important. If you just look at both their grids on this slide, you could just see, the strategy and really just the aesthetics of the page. I mean, it's so important because that's how you get new followers. People will, we do manual engagement, very social. So we'll follow certain people based on like hashtags, geotags, and popular pages. And, we comment and we engage with them, and they go back and they they'll look at your page, and they have like 3 seconds really to make a decision if they want to follow you or not. So having that really beautiful page, like, it makes that difference. What would you guys say, what kind of content do you get the most feedback from and most engagement?
Content that relates to us, so our pets. And we've had family members, we have, our sphere calling us saying, what a polished, amazing account. Yet we can, again, still see, a little bit what's going on with you guys outside of real estate. You combine them both beautifully. So I would say personal pictures of us, which again, are hard at first. It's uncomfortable to be able to get on camera. But I would say those are the ones that hit home.
Yeah, you definitely need to have like these two sides of the coin. Like when people pull this up, you want them to walk away with like, oh, these guys are in real estate and they know what they're doing and they're professionals and they got some knowledge. But the other side is you have to have instantly that human appeal, that human connection. They have to know, okay, these guys are real people. Oh, they like animals. Oh, I like pasta too. This real human aspect of it. That's what they also have to walk away with. And I think that, we've worked together with Ryan and his team to really create that first impression, and we're really happy with it.
I think one thing that those people that are listening in and saying, well, look, maybe I want to try this on my own, and I don't want to use very social, just to start off, pay attention to what they're saying. And that's, they're saying, mix it up between the personal, and if you see that grid, Ryan, it showed really high quality graphics, pictures, And what stood out in my head, now that I'm thinking back, is the picture of your dog with the reindeer hat, right? And so it's very personal, right? So you've got to mix it in if you're going to do this on your own. And if you're not, then be sure to go with very social. But one thing that you mentioned that I wanted to add, and Ryan, chime in on this because I want to know what you think. Instagram right now is the place where everybody's going to reach out to you, to DM you. You look at Clubhouse, it's the only way that people are DMing me. They're not DMing me through Twitter because Twitter doesn't have enough followers on there. They're DMing me through Instagram. When you go on to TikTok, if you're not friends already and somebody wants to find you, they can DM you through Instagram. They naturally go and gravitate to Instagram. So those are two platforms that are massively growing that use Instagram to be able to communicate with you. So that's where everybody else is going on the social realm. This is why we go deeper into Instagram.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Instagram, it's the largest social platform and it kind of just integrates like all, TikTok, with Facebook, you could reshare a lot of, all your posts. So, but it's different audiences. But I think, what we like to do is really like to focus in on Instagram and kind of that's where our strategy goes. And then we repost on other things, I also read that to really get the most exposure is to really use all of the Instagram products, so by using the in-feed, by doing the stories, by doing the reels, by doing, commenting and DMing other people, by using all the features for Instagram, like it helps you get more exposure.
Yeah, you got it. I want to go to who was next on your chart there.
Let's switch it up. So Berto is actually, he's my title guy in New York. He's very active on social before we met, and he's got a lot of different interests. We all deal with title people, not the most exciting job, I guess. Sorry, Berto. At least it's not the most exciting job to promote on Instagram. But I think what I told Berto, and he's got a lot of other amazing hobbies. He's building a brownstone. He has an amazing social life. He's got a great group of friends. But I think with Berto is he wants to connect with real estate agents. Like that's his client. Like I refer a ton of business to him and he services them tremendously. So I'm like, let's come up with a strategy on how to really connect with other real estate agents and really be that source of information where you're the expert. So Berto, how has it been going with somebody who already is familiar and kind of has a certain way of doing things and then kind of like letting go a little bit and working with Very Social?
Right. So it's interesting. We just heard from the Chabaro team sort of explain how it's been great for them to build this business, right? Same thing with Jeff. He started building his business in a different part of a different territory, let's say. So they're both sort of starting from scratch to build their social media. Well, for me, I've been in real estate for 9 years, but title insurance for 5. And I guess I already had a business that was really starting to grow. And I just started noticing that through Instagram was a great way to connect, right? My industry is a commodity. You need it, right? You're going to get it. If you're buying or refinancing, title insurance is happening, unless it's a co-op. And we're all the same price, regulated by the state. So really my way of getting business, of course, besides doing a good job, offering, some value and insight into properties here and there, is really just to be top of mind, right? I know a bunch of attorneys, a bunch of lenders, a bunch of brokers, and they're all doing deals. But if I'm not top of mind when that deal is happening, there's a good chance I'm going to miss out on that deal. So as my clientele, I guess, right, or my contacts relationship started to grow to hundreds of people that send me business, it's hard to keep in touch with all of them. Even before COVID, I couldn't grab lunch or coffee or dinner or something or swing by someone's office. I couldn't, deal with more than 100 clients a month. So I was like, all right, what's a better way to do this? COVID happened and I'm like, all right, we need to keep in touch with people. Social media is absolutely the best way to do so right now. So of course I do online continuing education classes, which Very Social is also helping me with. They're handling my personal account, which is my business account, but also they're working with my real estate.
You got to keep the personal and business. You got to intertwine them. You can't have two accounts.
No. I actually have given people advice that you need to connect them. It means everything now.
Totally.
And those are some of the referrals I sent your way. And hopefully something comes of that. So I realized that social media, especially Instagram, like you mentioned earlier, great way to put it, it's my website. My most in a very entertaining way that's very fun for me, something that I enjoy doing. I feel like if it was just a website and I was sitting there like, posting blogs, and I would not be interested. I would not enjoy it. Instagram is something fun for me that I enjoy doing, and it gets to promote my business, and I keep in touch with people. A lot of the times you guys post something great, or even on my story, like I'm not a broker, but you'll post some broker related things like how do we sell this property or buyer facts. And it gets so many responses, and they say, hey, I didn't know you were a broker. And I'm like, I'm not, but it doesn't matter. I'm talking to you. So they're like, well, why are you promoting that? I'm like, well, for this reason exactly. Now me and you are talking. By the way, how's your dog? By the way, how was your trip last weekend? And that's all I need to do. And 5 minutes later, they're like, by the way, I have a buyer coming up. I'll let you know when we submit the offer. Very Social has been great for me, especially since, as I mentioned before, business is growing. Instagram was working. I didn't have enough time to post my things. I sent you guys pictures from, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months ago that you're just posting for me now. Thank you. Because I could never think of a good caption or couple good hashtags or, filtering my pictures properly. So you guys do all of that for me. Of course, I go in and make a few edits here and there, but it's been incredibly helpful for me to maintain my business, right? To keep in touch with existing clients and definitely to continue growing. I have more leads from you guys now than I know what to do with at the moment.
I have a question for you, Berto, on that. What type of account do you have? Do you have a business account, a creator account, or just regular personal account?
Ryan, it's a business account now.
It's a business account.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And just real quick, just to go off what Berto said, it's honestly the reason why that I started this business is because, when I first started really getting into it, it's like kind of like Instagram stories came about, and I was talking to people all day long on DM. I'm DMing people because I'm scrolling through the stories, and like I might see a client or a friend of, that I haven't seen in a while, and I'll just like shoot them a DM, and then a conversation starts. Like, it's such a great way to like reach out to people. And then also with Very Social, like we're creating engaging content. We're thinking about this a month in advance for the Instagram feed, for a week in advance for the stories. We're creating stories that are going to create dialogues. Like the polls are so amazing that we do. We're doing this like this or that, where we give people different options on like choosing, different travel destinations, different negotiation tactics, different restaurants. We do it for the holidays, but you can swipe up on the polls and you can see exactly who's voting for what. And it's just a good way to reach out, say, hey, I agree with you. I'd rather go to Tulum too, or, you could see who's interacting with you. And, it's just a really good way to, not grab coffee with someone or take them out to dinner, just like start a conversation, like, through direct message. Like I think last month I did 250 DMs. I'm talking to people all day long on DM.
Yeah, and I will add, Ryan, and this is a great testament to what you guys do for me and my businesses. I've literally met people on Instagram, DM'd a few times, hopped on a call, gotten a deal, and have closed business more than once in the past 30 days alone from Instagram, which to me is wild, right? Never met someone, they sent me a deal, which, as you guys know in real estate, right? Imagine if that's a big deal. Imagine if you met a buyer, sold them a property you guys have never met, right? So thank you guys for everything that you do. And I think that it would work for absolutely so many different industries. As I scroll through my Explore page, I mean, artists, interior designers, architects, landscapers, if you have something to show, obviously real estate as well, you guys could do wonders for them, and like you have for me. So I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, Berto. Roberto, where should we follow you at? What's your handle?
Berto Antunano. I keep it simple. It's my first and last name.
All right, great.
Did you post it up in the chat there? Oh, perfect. And also, if you guys missed it, we do have a promotion with Very Social there. I'll put up the link again if you're missing it. And who's next on our?
Wait, just real quick before. So we have a new product at Very Social that we're very proud of. We wanted to really offer a package for a starter package for people really just to kind of get a feel for what it's like to work with us. So we created a calendar. It's pretty much a calendar that has different infographics. It has like examples of like pictures of me, but we switch out the pictures, we switch out the branding, we have all the copy, we have all the hashtags. We're going to be posting for you 12 posts per month, 12 Instagram stories per month. They're pre-made, they're proven posts that have worked with us and our clients in the past. And so we're offering that for $250 per month. What our clients have right now are custom packages where we really work with them hand in hand. We give them monthly social media audits. We custom, their calendars and their stories to them. But I think this is somebody that, really wants to see, what it's like to, to have a good looking grid, and really just to kind of get started to have that professional feel. So we're offering it for $250 per month. We also have our packages, starting at $1,000 per month. So I think this is a great way to really get started with working with us, and really just to kind of if you're on the fence of seeing if you want to invest in social media, this is it's a good package for you.
It is, man. It's very entry level priced. So I like it. Who's next on our charts?
So our next is Stephanie McSwain. She is actually a referral from LabCoats. Stephanie is in Texas. So it's nice that we have people all over the country, but we're all doing the same thing. We're selling real estate. We really want to provide, we want to elevate our clients' social. And I think once we saw Stephanie's page, kind of before us, which Stephanie needed is a kick in the butt. She needed to be a little bit more strategic. And I think we really helped her achieve her goals. And she's got an unbelievable grid, and her stories are personal. She's also the owner of a brokerage. So I think at first we really wanted to focus on her real estate business, but we have some goals for this year to really start to promote her brokerage. So Stephanie, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you made the jump to really invest in your brand on social media?
Absolutely, and thank you, Ryan. I want to make one correction. I'm not the owner. I'm just a district director for my brokerage, so I'm not the owner. But we do have a brand new district out here where I'm at. So that has been fun to watch that grow. But kind of my story is I was always very present on Facebook, lots of business from my Facebook. Quarantine happened. I kind of got off of Facebook for personal reasons, just tired of reading stuff. So I switched over to Instagram and started to notice that, I really enjoyed it. And it was just much more of a personal conversation. It was so much easier to, direct message somebody and talk to them about whatever was going on in the world. So if you go and look on my Instagram prior to Very Social, and you'll be able to see where it switches, it was basically a selfie collage. I mean, it was literally me, my friends, my family. I mean, if we were going to be real honest, I didn't use Instagram at all for business. I would try here and there, but I had really all my eggs in my basket with Facebook. And the light bulb just kind of went off of, you know what, you've got to start doing better at posting. And I just had to have a real talk to myself and say, listen, I don't have the time to really put the time and energy into what needs to be on Instagram. I can barely get it done on Facebook. And thankfully, LabCoatAgents, I was on a webinar one day and I got to listen to Ryan, and I started visiting with them, and to be honest, it was a little scary. I'm thinking, here I'm going to just hand over my social media to somebody and let them start, posting and doing for me. And first,
Stephanie, on that, because you bring up a good point,
sure.
it gets kind of scary when you actually first you kind of give the password over to them, and they're like,
you do.
Here it is. You can do stuff, but don't do stuff that I wouldn't do.
Right.
It kind of feels weird, right?
It does. It does. But what I will say is very social. Of course, you have a calendar. I mean, they just do not go about posting things that you wouldn't post. You approve everything prior. They do have a calendar. That was a little hard for me getting used to that. But I'm telling you what, I wish I would have done this. I wish this would have been in my life years ago. Because truthfully, they have really grown my following. I've received business from it already, and I think I've only been with them maybe 3 or 4 months.
Whoa.
So agents in my area have reached out saying, "Hey, we've noticed it. What are you doing? Who's doing your social media?" They're noticing a difference, and so I'm very thankful for them.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great working with Stephanie because she's really got a lot of personality like on Instagram, and I think we kind of like push her to be more in front of the camera, interactive, doing videos. So it's been a great partnership. You know what? I'm gonna go through some of these slides, and I just want to kind of like talk about. I want to go over, maybe we can kind of just jump in. So Stephanie, what's a big part of social? Would you say sharing your listings? Is it more the personal content?
As far as what's important to me?
Or what's been, what are your clients resonating with?
Honestly, where I've gotten the most communication comes from the tips and the, what do you call those? The true and falses, the questions, I guess. That is where I get a lot of my engagement, and that is where the conversation starts. But it's kind of funny you asked me that, and I just now saw y'all posted something while I was on here. So once again, thank you, because I don't have the time to be on there. And somebody has already sent me a message, and she was like, she's joking. She's in a different area and I can't help her, but she's like, "Can you sell my house? Could you sell my house?" And it's just that the engagement's there. The conversation is there. I don't know. I'll reach out to her. We'll see what we can do. Maybe I can help her out. But the thing is that it's about the communication. So, but in answer to your question, a lot of it's the questions and quizzes that you guys put out.
Renee and Kara, I have your slides up right now about the market report. I think that's really important. We really try to, make these market reports easy to read and very elegant. How's that been resonating with your followers?
Very good. I think, obviously there is a place for, more numbers and more charts and more nitty gritty. But it wouldn't be on Instagram. So, we still send out, more comprehensive market reports as a direct mail or something like that. But it's just so much more accessible, and the important stuff is all on there. And you can just generate a lot more people, reach a lot more people by making it as accessible as it is on Instagram. So the reaction has been really good because, depending on, who your target audience is, there's always going to be a lot of people who are overwhelmed by, your typical market report with a lot of numbers and details. And this is just, it gets to the point, and it really, is a good outreach.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think the infographics are really helpful. Jeff, how what do you feel about what's the home buying process and these infographics that we do?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're great, and to be honest, you guys didn't even really need much input from me. I think you kind of, you guys nailed it. And that's the other thing I was going to say is that I've tried other social media places in the past, and if they don't understand real estate and they're just a social media agency, it's really hard for them to understand the right kind of content to put out, especially, generating it without much input from my end. So yeah, we did, I think the process things work great. And I really think those work great for buyers. And then for me, I think the market reports tend to resonate a little bit more with the sellers that want to know that the stats and where the market is and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm even looking at this, I think this is a story that we did. This is, some collaborations that we did with the small businesses. And if you look at just the design and the copy that we put into it, and a lot of this stuff, we source it, we take care of it to really save you time,
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're so busy as brokers that we have 100 other jobs, to actually do the research, write the copy, do the Canva designs. I mean,
Forget it.
Really
I would never do it. And by the way, my last thing I'll say, the small businesses, they love the free advertising and they start following you, and you never know. I mean, these small businesses know a lot of people and have a lot of friends in the community. And, if they don't have a go-to agent, that's another way to get in and build a buyer seller database.
Stephanie, is Berto still there? I think he left, right? Stephanie, I know this is Berto, but I feel like we've really done a great job with building your brand. If you see some of these graphics, these are what we do. There's always going to be, your logo and the brokerages, and how has the branding affected you?
Well, I think what's important, and the one thing that you guys that's been very important to me, is that it's been consistent. So it's always the branding is always consistent. My logos are always there. It's just constantly being put in front of the consumer. I mean, they're always seeing my face with my name and my logo. And if I'm the one handling that, hopefully it got on there. It may or may not have. One may be there, one may not. So it's really, the recognition has been there. People have seen me. They've noticed me. I'm getting comments on it. It's working. It's definitely working.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say on that, if you have a chance, all of you who are on here, and you go to your insights, you can take a look at which one of the posts have been saved the most. And what I was looking at while you were talking, Stephanie, is I was like, oh, let me check on mine. And you were right, Ryan, going back to what Renee and Carol were saying. I looked at it, and it's those instructional ones that there was one that said, this is what you think a transaction looks like: offer, escrow, close. We have escrow in our area. And then it breaks it down as to what it really looks like. And we had a ton of people save that one. And so that's always important to know who's saving what, right? So Stephanie, you were going to say something on that. I saw you.
On that, when you were saying about insights, that's one thing I think everybody should know, is one thing Very Social does for you as well is they do send you a report every week. And so you're getting a breakdown of what post performed the best, what was the least, and I think I enjoyed seeing that, because they are honestly, there's just so much work that goes into it on their end that I could have never, ever done on my own. I mean, it just wouldn't have been possible to maintain, running the brokerage and also doing my own business. So I think that's really important, the inside part.
I think, people kind of beat us up on the price or the beginning, or they don't really get it. I think they just don't get how much we put into working with our clients. We really create these custom packages. We want to elevate what they're doing. We want to push them to create more content. So, we really want our clients to be successful, and it's kind of a little community. It's about the aesthetics of the page. Every time one of our clients posts, all our clients post for each comment and like each other. So I think that's even a little push to just to make, you don't want to be the only person to comment on something. So, I think that's been another factor that's really helped, grow our followers and get more comments.
Yeah, very true, man. Very true. Very good data on that point. All right. So look, we've only got a few minutes left. Let's go through the rounds and see what they've learned so far for being with Very Social. Any tips you can give to people that are starting off on Instagram, or maybe that are kind of just stuck and just see it as another thing they have to do, right? And not as business. I want to start off with Stephanie, since we just did that. Stephanie, what do you think? What's a good tip you can give?
I think, whatever you choose to do, the most important thing is just to be consistent. I feel like social media is more of a marathon. It takes time, and if you'll be consistent, and I think you'll see the benefits.
That's super key. Well, I mean, that's what Very Social helps all of us here with, the consistency, right?
Yes.
That's so true. Kara, Renee, what about you?
Yes, I'll just briefly say that, as an agent, I know we do constantly feel the pressures of, how do we stay in front of people? And there are so many different ways, and as Stephanie's saying, you have to be consistent, whether it's direct mailing, EDDM, social media. And this is just one way that is completely stress-free for us. And we can't say that about any other avenues in terms of staying in front of people. So for this has been just a pleasure and really stress-free. I think you probably would agree.
Yeah, and what I would add is that, again, I came from, Silicon Valley, where I kind of had a job where it's like, okay, you got to get it done no matter what. And so when I started in real estate, I was trying to do it all. I was designing our postcards and building our website. I was trying to do it all, and maybe, you shouldn't. And if you work with the right people, you find that you don't have to. And again, in my prior world, and there was a world where people got nervous if an email wasn't answered in 15 minutes. So a lot of people don't, measure up to my standards, but Very Social, they very much do. And so, we work with, a few vendors here and there, but for different areas of our business. But Very Social really doesn't feel like a vendor. It truly feels like you just expanded your team with a few people that you work closely with and who are over in New York. It feels like an extension of yourself, not so much like a service provider.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, Renee, I think that's great. We have packages that we offer our clients, but we're an agency. We are an extension. Like, you're getting people that are going to work on graphic design or write copy. Like, it's, we're here for you. We're not just like, this is the package you signed up for. That's it. Like, we really want to be an extension of your team.
Yeah, I know you guys have really excelled on that. Anytime we reach out, like, hey, we want to put a different spin, or, we want to try this, or you guys reach out to us. Have you thought about trying, this avenue? It's really a creative dialogue from beginning to end. And it really feels like, yeah, you schedule a meeting with your team members. Let's talk about, different solutions and new ideas. And that's exactly how that collaboration works.
Great. Thank you, guys.
I love that. Jeff, what about you, buddy?
All good things everyone's saying, and totally true. Yeah, I would say that for me, what have I learned? Look, I was really anxious about posting on social and putting myself out there. And I think knowing that, Ryan's team is prepping everything, the copy is good, the hashtags are right, that took so much worry off my plate that all I really had to do was just focus on fun pictures, and not just real estate pictures, but I could take a picture of like my dog, like other people have as well, and just upload them into Dropbox, and they go from there. I mean, I don't know how Sylvia knew my dog's name, but she did. So yeah, so that's probably what I got.
I love that, man. All right, Ryan, anything you want to add here in closing, man?
Yeah, no, it was such a pleasure to have our clients, online, on this webinar. And, for the last, 8 months, I've been doing webinars, really kind of like going over like what we provide for our clients with the infographics and, the stories and, just growing. But it's nice to hear from, firsthand from our clients that what we're doing actually works. Because I'm an agent. Like, I started this business because I saw a need in the industry. I saw that, how successful it was for me. And I thought that, every broker should be, putting time, energy, and money into their social media. Like, this is the future of branding. So I'm just an entrepreneur with an idea, and I just started a business 1 year ago. I started it in January. So I've been in business for a year now. And, we have 25 clients, 20 of them are real estate agents. It's great that the partnership that we have with LabCoats, working on your social, which has been a pleasure and so much fun. So, we're here to stay. We're proven, because a lot of at the beginning, I was just promoting a dream, and now it's great to have, real clients here, that we have results, that we're doing good work, that they're gaining business. And I feel like it's just going to get bigger, and social media is even more important, and we're in a virtual world, and networking and connecting is different. You do it through social media, through Clubhouse, through Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many different forums. We're an agency, we're an extension, for you guys, for the agents. This is our niche. Like, Jeff said that, there's a lot of other agencies out there, but I don't think they get real estate like the way that we do. Like, this is our bread and butter. So thank you guys so much for being on this webinar and sharing your stories and your experience with Very Social.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, Ryan.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day. Sell some homes.
Thanks, guys.